Every single agency head has to identify a chief savings officer, and then within 45 days, those officers have to come back to us with a full assessment of the savings that could be pursued, the efficiencies that we're currently seeing, and the programs that frankly need to be sunsetted or are not effective.
Who in the hell was that? Who was that dude on WPIX in New York City this morning? It looked like Zohran Mamdani. The voice sounded like it belonged to Zohran Mamdani, but I was not feeling overcome by the terrific smell of his toxic mouth farts. I was not feeling overcome with his blatant lies and propaganda. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought Zohran Mamdani was a proud democratic socialist. Well, Uncle KC, what the hell is a democratic socialist? I apologize. I should have translated that for you. When translated to English, democratic socialist translates to doofus communist. Of course, even though he ran as a disguised communist, Uncle KC still believes that Zorro is an Islamist. But this morning on local TV in New York City, Zohran Mamdani, he didn't sound like a communist, damn sure didn't sound like an Islamist. As he was signing this new executive order, Zohran Mamdani sounded more like Orange Man Bad. This new initiative that Zohran Mamdani is implementing in New York City, it sounds a hell of a lot like Doge. You guys remember Doge, right? The program that was created by the Trumper last year, it was being run by Elon Musk, where they found billions and billions of dollars in government spending that was a complete waste of taxpayer money. Millions of dollars were being spent studying non-binary locusts in Taiwan. Millions of dollars were being spent providing transgender surgeries in Ethiopia. They can't afford breadcrumbs in Ethiopia, but if Moses wants to transition to Maria, Uncle Sam was willing to pay for it. Now, Zohran Mamdani is implementing a similar program in New York City. Every department in the city, they are now responsible for hiring a chief savings officer. I know it's been many, many years since I have worked in corporate America, but a job title like Chief Savings Officer, that sounds like a corporate position. Zohran Mamdani has never had a job, so I wonder where he got this idea from. The question is why? Why is Zorro doing this? You know, Zohran Mamdani is lucky. At the beginning of January, all eyes were on Zorro as he placed his hand on the Quran and promised to protect Islamic interests. American interest in New York City. Remember the block party that he threw where doofus celebrities were celebrating the arrival of communism while the subjects that voted for Zohran Mamdani were defecating and peeing on the sidewalk because their communist hero forgot to provide porta potties? Oh. Those were good times. But ever since the Communist Bloc Party, the ongoing destruction of New York City has been completely overlooked on a national level. Attention has been diverted away from Zorro because everyone has been focused on the ongoing civil war in Minneapolis, Stan. But that's okay. That's okay. I know he's been feeling forgotten. I know he's been feeling overlooked. But don't you worry, Zorro. Uncle KC hasn't forgotten about you. And the people that voted for you damn sure haven't forgotten about you. Remember all the promises that Zorro made on the campaign trail? Free buses, free health care, free wiener service from the masturbating bear. During the campaign, free seemed like the only word in Zohran Mamdani's vocabulary. Everything in New York City was going to be free. If you're a native New Yorker, you were promised free bus rides to work. If you're an illegal immigrant in New York, you receive first-class transportation to your new home at the Four Seasons. Free school, free lunch, free, free, free. But how is Zorro going to pay for this free stuff while promising to drastically decrease the budget? To his credit, Zohran Mamdani does have a plan. It's not going to work, but he at least has a plan. But I think Zohran Mamdani is rapidly coming to the harsh realization that nothing is free, and he made promises that he can't keep. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel's in the description below. Earlier today on the second channel, talked about Bob Greiner once again trashing America. Bob Greiner is the featured star in the soon-to-be-released documentary, The Brittany Griner Story. Fascinating. It's a traumatic story about a young woman named Bob who tried to smuggle her good friends Cheech and Chong through a Russian airport. Since Brittany Griner has returned home from her extended Russian vacation, she's, for the most part, been on her best behavior. But after years of relative silence, Bob Greiner has resumed trashing America. I explain why Bob is once again criticizing the country that organized her escape from a Russian prison. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Subscribe to the second channel. Yesterday afternoon, Zohran Mamdani held a press conference. Normally, when we see Zorro publicly, he is playing the role of the happy-go-lucky doofus. He's smiling, he's waving with one hand while waving the Palestinian flag with the other hand. But yesterday at this press conference, Zohran Mamdani was in a somber mood. I inherited a city in crisis. My predecessor, Eric Adams, left me with a $12 billion budget deficit. Not only can I not provide free bus service, I don't even have the money to provide paid bus service. According to Zohran Mamdani, New York City is facing a financial crisis that's worse than the financial crash of 2008. But he has a brilliant plan to solve this $12 billion budget deficit. Watch for yourself.
We are speaking about a fiscal crisis at the scale greater than the Great Recession. There will not be one single thing that can answer that crisis. It will require us to pursue every single avenue. That means looking inward into savings and efficiencies. That also means raising taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers and the most profitable corporations.
Wowzer! This man is brilliant! Our budget deficit is resolved. We're gonna tax the billionaires and make them pay for our government housing. Don't you worry, kids. We won't be homeless much longer. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes! Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Zohran Mamdani's brilliant plan to make up a $12 billion budget deficit. Not 12 million, 12 billion. His brilliant plan to make up this deficit is to tax billionaires. He's going to raise taxes on billionaires in New York City by 2%. And he thinks that's going to work? For starters, you know what billionaires are really good at doing? Finding ways to not pay taxes. You don't become a billionaire by being a dummy. You don't become a billionaire by donating most of your income to someone like Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who has never generated a single peso in revenue. If Zorro raises taxes on billionaires in New York City, they'll do one of a couple of things. Number one, they'll pass it on to the consumer or find ways to reduce their tax burden. I was talking to another YouTuber the other day. He was asking me why I pay out the ass every month for a professional designer to create all of my thumbnails. I pay it because it saves me a lot of time, saves me from doing something that I really don't like to do. But the main reason I hired a professional thumbnail designer, it reduces my taxes. Billionaires are doing the same thing on a much larger scale. So they will either find ways to reduce their tax burden, they'll pass that burden on to the consumers, or billionaires will just leave New York City altogether. I keep seeing articles throughout the mainstream media. Billionaires haven't left New York City. They are happy to pay more in taxes to live in this utopia. Yeah. It's only been a month. They haven't left New York City yet, but let's just be real here. Even before Zohran Mamdani was elected mayor, New York City wasn't the destination that it used to be. In 2010, New York City accounted for almost 13% of the millionaires in America. By 2022, they accounted for 8%. Over the last few years, illegal immigrants have flooded New York City. Hell, it's literally how Zohran Mamdani got elected. And it's one of the main reasons that New York City has a $12 billion deficit. 3 years ago, former Mayor Eric Adams, he warned doofus Democrats about this. If we keep spending money on illegal immigrants, the city will be in a multi-billion-dollar deficit. Of course, Zohran Mamdani claimed that's right-wing propaganda. And now that Zorro is dealing with the problem, now that Zorro is dealing with the deficit, he's blaming Eric Adams for failing to warn him about a $12 billion budget deficit. Look, I am no expert, but the solution seems kind of simple to me. Raising taxes on billionaires is not going to solve the problem. The easiest way to me to solve the problem is to cut out a lot of this welfare, especially welfare being given to people living in New York City illegally. It's not rich people's responsibility to take care of illegal immigrants from Somalia. It's not their responsibility to take care of illegals from Iran. If Zorro was serious about trimming the budget, maybe he would stop New York City from being a sanctuary city. If New Yorkers want a preview of coming attractions, just look at what's happening in London. Look at what's happening in Europe. They allowed Islamists from Africa into their countries, and now they have completely taken over. Zohran Mamdani is running into the same problem that every communist runs into. It's easy on the campaign trail to promise free buses. It's easy to promise free health care. It's easy to promise to spend other people's money. But now, Zohran Mamdani is faced with the hard part. He has to find ways to pay for it. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.